pretty much, my younger brother with his girlfriend and I believe one of his coworkers. At the time, it came, to the area to visit me. But there were other individuals that were at the school as well. Another individual that was at the school as well that my brother was very, close to as well. But anyway, one fateful night, we kind of all got together. We may not all been on the same accord, but truth of the matter is we all got together and we went out to a location and my brother did a home invasion and he wound up getting shot and killed.
Seem like the world been going crazy. Quarantine in my house with my say. Kinda in this loud, wonder why they hate. Cause I'm black and I'm proud, we need change right now.
How's it going? How you doing? It is nice to meet you. Hi guys. What's up, AB?
What's good?
Behind the scenes? Okay, I like the outfit. I like the fit. Yeah, I like the look.
Very comfy.
Yeah.
Comfy.
So Taffy, I want to say thank you for letting me come today. See your shop. You have an amazing shop. I see you do a lot of work, man. A lot of work. So welcome to Wine.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
We have all our viewers watching right now. Tell them who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Taffy Cunningham. I am the CEO of the clothing brand Secure Cultures, and I'm also the owner and founder of a graphics design and printing company, ft.Taffy.
Absolutely. I'm repping her outfit today.
I see.
I like that pink, so I had to show out a little bit.
Yeah. I appreciate the support. Definitely.
Absolutely. So tell me, where did Secure Cultures first begin?
Secure Cultures, the idea of me being a business owner actually began while I was in prison. So I had, gotten to a situation that pretty much landed me in a very unforeseen place. And, before that I was a academic and my field of study was sociology with concentrating in criminology. So I kind of had a good idea about how society is receptive to ex-felons, people getting out of prison. The reintegration process is not really what society focuses on, a lot. So just by me knowing that, and then also being determined to, make something of myself. While I was in prison, I just decided that, I wasn't going to get out and come out here and beg for somebody to give me, a job or opportunity. I had, I was in graduate school when, I caught my case. So I knew I had education. I knew that, I wasn't a criminal, right? And so I said, well, you know what? I better start planning now to see what it is, I'm gonna do to kind of, put the whole thing past me.
So let's take a step back. You went to school for sociology.
Mm-hmm.
What made you go into that field originally?
You know what? I have just always been fascinated with just human interaction, just the different structures in society, the way we determine norms. Just everything is sociology. Wherever there's two or more people, you have social interaction. So that was a field of study that not only did I learn about in the classroom, but it was applicable to my everyday life, right? When I stepped out of the classroom, I was still seeing sociology. So, and then I specifically went into criminology when I got in my graduate studies because, I've always thought I was a lawyer, an attorney.
Right.
Yeah. So,
criminal justice is it's an interesting major. I think that they should really teach it in high school, sociology and criminal justice, because it's something that we should all really know, especially our youth in today's society.
Yeah, facts. I definitely think that every single field of study should have at least one sociology class as a course requirement to your degree.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm a little partial. I don't know.
So when you were in college, how long were you? Oh, first off, what college did you go to?
Okay, so I went to undergraduate school at the North Carolina Central University. Yes, put the wings up. Y'all already know what it is. Okay, I got to be careful with my mic, but if I didn't, I'd be flapping his wings right now. Okay, that's why I got my undergraduate degree at North Carolina Central University, and then I went on to receive academic scholarship at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale, which is in Carbondale, Illinois. Yeah, the Salukis. What's up? Shout out Dr. Ward, Pat McNeil, Lynn Nauman, Robert Benford, Michelle Miller. Man, shout out all my professors up there at SIU, man, that definitely took a lot of good care of me. And unfortunately, things happen, but they were definitely all still by my side, even in the midst of all the chaos, when things kind of went left. So, but
it's good to have people like that.
Absolutely.
You look back, and those people are set examples, and they helped us push through our issues and circumstances. So it's good to have people like that.
Yeah. Well, they saw something in me from my undergrad. From my undergrad, they vetted me and everything, and man, Dr. Ward, Pat McNeil. I can't forget Pat McNeil. Shout out Pat McNeil. I love you. I still love you to this day, Miss McNeil.
So tell me, what led you after you were finishing up your degree? Mm-hmm. What was the change of circumstance that happened to you within your life?
Well, like I said, I was in graduate school at SIU at the time. I was about 24 years old. Kid, stupid. And pretty much, my younger brother with his girlfriend and I believe one of his co-workers, at the time it came, to the area to visit me. Right. But there were other individuals that were at the school as well. Another individual that was at the school as well that my brother was very, close to as well. But anyway, one fateful night, we kind of all got together. We may not all been on the same accord, but truth of the matter is we all got together and we went out to a location and my brother did a home invasion and he wound up getting shot and killed. And after bullets rang out, people started running and stuff like that, except for me, right? And so I was kind of left behind to be able to kind of see my brother's death pretty much. And so by me being on the scene, by that being my brother, by me having any involvement in that at all, I got caught up in accountability cases. So I actually was on trial for my brother's murder, actually, under the accountability theory, even though I didn't shoot and kill him, but right. If a death occurred, they try to, anybody involved at all could be held responsible. And so but luckily I was acquitted of that, but I was found guilty on lesser charges that were still very serious. Okay, the home invasion and the armed violence, and I wound up getting sentenced to about 20 years in prison. Yeah, and because there was great bodily harm, I was originally supposed to do about 18 years and some change, but God had different plans for me, so it didn't quite work out like that.
Man, I'm gonna say this, I can only imagine what you had to go through at that specific moment. The trials of going through the system, going through the prison, experiencing that's gotta be tough. How was your experience in prison?
Well, first of all, I need to say something to clear that up. Me losing my brother, even to this day, was the worst punishment that I faced in the whole situation. Prison was secondary, going through it's very stressful, going back and forth to court. You mind you now, this is all the way in Illinois, and I was able to, come home to North Carolina, which I got back into, school at North Carolina Central to pick my graduate studies back up. Okay. Where that had been interrupted. But it is stressful, don't get me wrong, but I had to deal with the loss of my brother and the things that I witnessed. I have to manage that and deal with that, Okay, so when prison or the possibility of prison got put on top of that, I mean, it was a heavy weight. Don't get me wrong, but it was like still in the midst of it all. There was the tremendous loss and pain was still associated with the death of my brother. So, but how was it in prison? Is that what you want to know? Like, how was my experience in prison?
Yeah, how's your experience?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I met some very, very interesting people. Some people I'm still friends with to this day. Okay. So, there's a lot of stereotypes and thoughts about people that are in prison, and I understand that.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, people are people, and mistakes happen, things happen. Look at me, I'm in the same place that they're in. You know what I mean? And so, my experience in prison, I was thousands of miles away from home. At least 1,000 miles away from home. I didn't know anybody. Okay, I didn't have any friends. I didn't know the lingo, the language, the slang. I'm like a fish, like out of water here. Like,
Right.
but I mean, everything's about adjusting. I was able to adjust, and again, I do need to say, my training in sociology, I was able to go through that, seeing things from a different perspective. Like, I actually understood the dynamics that were going on within the system, which made it, for me, honestly, in a lot of ways, to be like a field study, kinda. When you have to actually go somewhere and get that first-hand account of what it is, whatever it is you're studying or looking at. Right. And for me to be in sociology and in criminology specifically, and now I find myself in prison, going through the court system, going through the justice system, actually being incarcerated, knowing how inmates are treated, knowing how the relationship between inmates and COs and the norms and the things in there, really, that honestly helped me negotiate a lot of things, because I understood from a sociological standpoint what was going on. I wasn't just going through the motions.
So did you continuously educate yourself while you were incarcerated with knowledge? I know a lot of people, that's what they tend to do, is they read and educate. Is that what you did as time was passing by?
Okay, so with the level of education I had already obtained before going into prison, they really didn't have any classes for me, so to speak, that I kind of would like. I'm not trying to be cocky. I probably just bluff through them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, but what I did do is I became a tutor, and what I was able to do is to help adults. Some adults had very low reading levels. I would help with, adult learning, teaching people how to read.
Oh, that's awesome.
There were people in there that, of course, they didn't have their GED, and so I would tutor them so that they could take the test and quite possibly get days taken off of their sentence and get an early release. So even though I didn't really do a lot of self-educating in the classroom, I still was able to still be in that environment. Now, as far as myself, I was in the law library. I actually went to the law library, read, and I knew how to read and research and write, and I knew my case inside and out, and I ended up writing an appeal and won.
Knowledge is power, man. That's awesome. So when you got out, how was that feeling of being back into the population and starting over?
Well, if it wasn't for that appeal, first of all, I'd still be locked up today. So anything that has happened from 2014 to now would completely be non-existent. All right. I wasn't really scheduled to even get out of prison until this year, 2021. Later on this year, actually.
There's other plans for you.
There were other plans for me. That's right. So when I had won my appeal, I knew I still had about maybe 3-4 years left to do, So, I was just prepared. I was prepared. I didn't look at getting out as I've made it, right? Because I knew there was so much more that I had to do. So, I mean, it's kind of like how I did my time. You know, you do the time, you don't let the time do you. All right. So I didn't spend my time thinking about outside, thinking about when I'm going to get out, have to see the guidance counselor every time, you know, he comes on the unit, trying to see if I get days, trying to see what laws have changed. I didn't do that. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, it's not 2014 yet. Okay, it's not my year, so it's no need for me to even like let's just keep this moving.
Right.
So when I got out, it was the same thing. It was just like, okay, you're prepared. You've prepared yourself to get out and come home. You know what you have to do. And so it was just like my body was free now to catch up to what my mind had been focused on for all those years. And I just took it all in stride, honestly.
Man. So when did Secure Cultures come about? How did that become introduced after that point?
So when I was still in prison and I had made up my mind that I was going to be a business owner, I originally was going to name my company ft.Taffy.
Okay.
And it was going to be a promotion company. Okay. And it, it was going to be artist development. And, I just had all these different ideas. But then when I got home and, time was going on and I was, taking steps to, it kind of changed a little bit. And I really still don't know why it changed a little bit. I just feel like I wanted to be a little bit more focused on what specifically I did. Okay. So I said, you know what? I've got the basics of business, right? I've learned business aside from what I would specifically be doing for business, but just business itself. So when it came to concentrate on a concentration, right? I use a lot of academic terms when I talk. Sorry. I said, I've always had my own sense of fashion, my own sense of style. All right. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. So are you talking about the name or just the concept of making a clothing brand?
The concept of what you have now, the brands, the name.
Well, Secure Cultures, again, we got to go back to sociology. It's a reoccurring thing. So the meaning of Secure Cultures is this. We all go in and out of different subcultures within the overall culture. Okay, like we're an American culture, right?
Right.
But there's a subculture to us being minorities. There's a subculture to me being a black woman. There's a subculture to you being a Latina woman. There's a subculture for black men, white women, white men. We all go in and out, right?
Right.
From whatever labels and characteristics, and we have many individually. We go in and out of subcultures all the time, and with every subculture comes norms, regulations, rules, expectations. Okay. And so secure cultures pretty much means to remain consistent and true to yourself as you maneuver through the subcultures of life. Okay. That's why cultures is plural. Okay. And I have to tell people all the time, I have to remind them of the S. The S is important. Okay. Because it's secure cultures. And the logo is the same front and back. Okay, so if you change my logo around or change it the right way, it's the same. It remains the same. And that's what pretty much the idea behind Secure Cultures is pretty much about. Remain the same, know who you are, and live your truth.
I love that. That was a great explanation. So when you design your clothes, because I know you have plenty of different designs and looks, how do you become inspired for a new design? Do you draw it out?
Well, okay, so look, I gotta back you up just a little bit. Sorry.
You're good.
I'm sorry, she's running the interview, but I'm running my mouth. Okay. I got in 2014, okay? But I didn't launch my company until 2016, all right? Because, one, I knew that I had to learn this for real. A lot of people just kind of want to wake up and say, hey, I want to do something. And then they take the steps to do it, but there's no skill behind it. There's nothing behind it. And that's
planning.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's not, there's no easy road to success.
Right.
People can spot a fraud easily. Okay, and the first detail of a fraud is the one who has to constantly tell you, I'm not a fraud. You know, I'm real. This is real. You know, so I took 2 years, day in, day out, sometimes all night, overnighters, learning the actual skill set required to be a designer. Okay, and so what inspires me is just it's things that I see, it's moods that I can get in, it's certain colors that maybe I think look not, I get my inspiration from pretty much a little bit everywhere. I've watched videos, I've read books that's given me inspiration. So I mean, inspiration can come to me. It can come from almost anywhere. Honestly, I could get an inspiration for a design sitting here talking to you. Honestly,
right?
Because I could sit and say, you know what? If I would have had that on during this interview, that would have been kind of dope. Next to what she has on.
So it's like an art.
It is definitely an art. It's definitely an art. And so I'm a graphic designer. Okay, and because I am a graphic designer, I know how to design anything, right? And then I work with manufacturers who can cut and sew and put together what I am able to design on screen, okay? And then, of course, the actual printing and all of that, we handle that, so.
Dope stuff, man. Dope stuff. If there's any words of advice that you would give to someone, whether it's an entrepreneur, whether it's someone who came out of prison and they want to start something with their life, a new beginning, what words of advice would you give to them?
Okay. What I would say is, first of all, and I say this is so important, if you want to go into business, right, if we're talking about business specifically, you have got to learn business, okay? What it is you do directly in that business, that's technically secondary, honestly. So I would definitely say, don't forget that you are running a business. You are trying to scale a business. Make sure your business is structured correctly. Make sure you have all the licenses that you may need. Make sure you just you don't have to have everything figured out when you start, but you do need to know the basics of business so that you can position yourself to actually make some really major moves within your business so that you can be respected and looked at as the scale,
Awesome, man. And where can they find you at? So, or what all do you do, first off?
What I do? Okay. So I'm a graphic designer, and so I do logos, my goodness, t-shirt designs, flyer designs. I do any type of designing.
You do it all.
I do it all. Okay. So I develop brands, and then we also print apparel. So we print. I got some new machineries coming in. Y'all stay tuned for that, because we're definitely about to expand a little bit and open up our services. We should have that going on by the end of the month. So I do face masks, you name it. So I print for companies, family reunions, organizations. I do pretty much graphic design and apparel printing.
Awesome. So you ship nationwide?
I do ship. Yes,
you do ship.
I do ship nationwide. We're almost in all 50 states, but not quite. We still got some territory to break into, but we on the map. We're definitely on the map.
Good stuff. Where can everyone find you at?
All right, so to check out the brand, make sure you visit www.securecultures.com. You can check out the business page on Facebook, which is at Secure Cultures. On Instagram, secure_cultures. I'm Taffy Cunningham. You can find my personal page on Facebook. And then for my Graphics by Taffy company, you want to go to the Facebook page, which is at Graphics by Taffy. And then you can also see a lot of the work on my personal pages with them.
Good stuff. Well, Taffy, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for having me here, man.
Absolutely.
Allowing me to see your or hear your story and learn so many new things. I'm gonna definitely take that with me, and our guests as well. So I appreciate that.
All right. Well, I thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely.